Cool bananas. My name is Jay. I'm one of the expert teachers at E2language.com. In this lesson, we're going to look at IELTS writing task 2, and specifically, we're going to look at the opinion questions. Of course, when you take your IELTS, there are a variety of different question types which you might get. One of them is the double question, advantages, disadvantages, for example. This one's the opinion. It's a little bit tricky. The other ones, it's easy to see how to write 2 paragraphs, 2 body paragraphs. With this one, you need to think a little bit more carefully. So let's take a look at it. By the way, before we begin, please get out a pen and a piece of paper because we're going to write this essay from beginning to end. I'm going to show you how to do it sentence by sentence. And the structure that I use, if your grammar and vocabulary is good enough, this warrants a high IELTS writing score, possibly even a 9, if that's even possible. Let's have a look at what I'm talking about. So, this is what you'll see on test day. This will be on a piece of paper in front of you. It says you should spend about 40 minutes on this task, write about the following topic. What you see smack bang in front of you is the important thing. It says some people believe that eventually all jobs will be done by artificially intelligent robots. What is your opinion? Okay, so what are we looking at here? We're looking at a statement where someone has given their opinion, and it's asking you for your opinion. Your essay is going to be based on this statement. Let's stop before we do anything and think about this question prompt again, because we need to generate ideas. We need to, it seems a bit strange to say, but we need to know what our opinion actually is before we start writing. Only when you form your opinion in your mind, and it may only take you a few seconds, or it may take you 30 seconds, then you'll be ready to write. But if you start writing without having formed a good opinion, who knows in what direction you will end up going. And we want to go in a straight direction. I'm going to show you a structure that uses this. So let's read this again and let's have a closer look at it. It says, some people believe that eventually, that's a key word, all jobs will be done or taken over or carried out by artificially intelligent robots. In other words, in the future, all jobs will be done by robots. It's a controversial statement. What is your opinion? Do you think that robots will take over every type of job in the future? Or do you think that robots will just take over some jobs and some other jobs will always be done by humans? These are the sorts of questions we need to ask ourselves before we start writing, okay? So when I look at this question prompt, I largely agree with this opinion. My opinion is that I think most jobs in the future, most, not all, most, and there's a big difference there between all and most jobs will be done by robots in the future. Some jobs, however, will always be done by humans. That's my opinion on this question prompt, right? Let's have a look at this question prompt. So there's a general statement. We're going to use this to form our structure, to write our essay. So we need to know what the parts of the question prompt are. The general statement says, some people believe that eventually all jobs will be done by artificially intelligent robots. What's your opinion? Fine. What structure are we going to use? Well, we're going to do this. We're going to write a 4-paragraph essay. We've got to write at least 250 words. So we've got to write about 70 words for each paragraph. 60, 70 words. And our paragraph 1 and 2 will in fact be our opinion 1 and 2. So remember when I said that I think most jobs will be carried out by robots, but some jobs will always be human? Well, there's my opinion 1, there's my opinion 2. Most and some. That's what my paragraphs are going to be about. They are my 2 opinions. This is the entire essay sentence by sentence, and this is what I want you to write. I'm going to show you my sentence, then I want you to write yours. I'm going to show you my second sentence 2. I want you to write yours. And we'll go through from introduction right through to conclusion. You might be thinking to yourself, well, this is too much for me to memorize before the exam. But if you look closely, you'll notice that the introduction and the conclusion are exactly the same. I'll show you, there'll be a little bit of a difference, but this one says rewrite the general statement. This one says rewrite the general statement. This one says briefly mention opinion 1 and 2. This one says briefly mention opinion 1 and 2. This one says give your overall opinion, and this one says give your overall opinion. So in fact, we're just memorizing here 3 sentences, not 6. And if we look closely at paragraph 1 and 2, you'll notice that the structure's the same for each of these. It says restate opinion 1, restate opinion 2. Give reasons, give examples. Give reasons, give examples. Conclude opinion 1, conclude opinion 2. So you're not memorizing here how many sentences, 6, 10. You're not memorizing 14 different sentences. In fact, you're just memorizing the structure for 7 sentences. And this will become your entire essay. This works. This is a structure that you want to take into your exam on test day. Because a few reasons why. First of all, when you have a structure in your mind, it takes a lot of stress away because you know exactly how to start, you know, the next sentence, and you go all the way through and you know exactly how to end. So it's stress relief, right? It's also, well, as I'll show you at the end of this lesson, it's tied to the IELTS criteria. What that means is the IELTS examiners are looking for a certain structure, and this is it. So let's get started with it. How to write the introduction. Fine, this is the introduction. It's going to be 3 sentences. We're going to rewrite the general statement. We're going to briefly mention our opinion 1 and 2. We're going to give our overall opinion. 3-sentence introduction. So this is it. Let's look at that first sentence where we rewrite the general statement. What's the general statement? Well, it's in the question, and it says some people believe that eventually all jobs will be done by robots. So let's have a look what I've done. This is my example here. Here's the general statement, right? Some people believe that eventually all jobs will be done by artificially intelligent robots. Here's my sentence. Artificially intelligent robots are progressively replacing humans in the workforce. I haven't gone with the all because I don't believe that. But I've really mirrored these 2 things. Say, if I got rid of this, these 2 sentences, apart from some people, eventually jobs will be done by artificially intelligent robots. Artificially intelligent robots are progressively replacing humans in the workforce. Now it's your turn. You've seen my sentence. I want you to rewrite this general statement. I will give you 2 minutes. No, 1 minute to write 1 sentence. 1 minute starts now. If you're on YouTube, by the way, don't forget to click like. Leave a comment. It makes me feel good. Cool. Let me just check to see if anyone's written any sentences. Herman has written, a growing number of the population advocates that all occupations will be substituted by artificial intelligent robots in the future. Okay. You've written here, a growing number of the population advocate. No, some people think, not a growing number of people think, just some people think. I like the second half of your sentence better, Herman. You've said you could start with all occupations will be substituted by artificial intelligent robots in the future. But by using all, you've started to get into an opinion. We want to avoid that. So you might want to just say, you could say, some people think, you could use those words again, or you could just say something like, occupations are increasingly being substituted by artificial intelligent robots. Something like that. Or they might be. You might just use the word might. Occupations might be substituted by artificial intelligent robots in the future. That could be good. Suda says, these days, artificially intelligent robots are profoundly replacing human requirements in many works. The word choice is a bit off, but you've got written a good sentence. You've mirrored that first sentence. I would say, these days, artificially intelligent robots are increasingly replacing. Profoundly replacing, increasingly is a better word, increasingly replacing humans in jobs. Keep it simple. Cool. All right. Julia's written, it is assumed that the majority of jobs in the future will be done by machines with artificial intelligence. Good, beautiful, well done. Maria, some people perceive that jobs will be overtaken by robots in the future. Excellent, that's the ticket. Let's go back. We've written our first sentence of the introduction, and all we have done is rewrite. We've just rewritten that general statement from the beginning. That was pretty easy. Now we move on to sentence 2. We want to briefly mention opinion 1 and 2. Briefly mention opinion 1 and 2. Let me show you mine. So, let me read this. It says, while it is possible that all menial jobs will eventually be done by robots, it's unlikely that jobs that require human contact will be taken over. So I briefly mentioned both of my opinions. Opinion 1, all menial jobs will eventually be done by robots. Let me choose a different color here. Let me choose red. And here I've said my second opinion, opinion 2, is it is unlikely that jobs that require human contact will be taken over. So they're my two opinions. Menial, by the way, menial, this word here just means like unskilled jobs, unskilled or simple jobs, easy jobs. So it's possible that easy jobs will be done by robots, but it's unlikely that jobs that require human contact will be done by robots. So now write your answer here. Briefly mention opinion 1 and opinion 2. I'll give you 2 minutes. "30 seconds. What's your opinion? Do you think all jobs will be done by robots in the future? Only a few jobs? Do you think they'll be just restricted to factories, for example? looking at sort of ratios: all, most, some, a few, many, a majority, something like that. Let me have a look at your sentences here. Herman says, although the possibilities to replace jobs is quite high, there are some jobs, especially those which require human relations, that cannot be replaced. Good, well done. So you've mentioned both those opinions, that it's highly likely that jobs will be replaced by robots, but the ones that require human relations won't be. Good, well done, Herman, good. Julia, in my opinion, it's more likely that some jobs will be taken by robots, while others will still require the presence of a human being. Excellent, you've got both your ideas in there, two opinions. Prabhakar says, this is absolutely true to some extent. However, there are quite a few jobs which cannot be done by robots. Great, you've got your two opinions in there. That's looking good. Let's move on to sentence 3, where we give our overall opinion. What does that mean? Now, last week I didn't do this, but I believe that this is a good inclusion. This essay will discuss, and then blah. This essay will discuss why eventually only very few jobs will be carried out by people. So what is your essay going to discuss? Well, the first sentence, I rewrote the general description. The second sentence, I gave both my opinions, and I said two things in my second sentence. I said that most jobs will be replaced, especially unskilled labor jobs will be replaced. But I said some jobs that require human contact won't be replaced. Now I've moved to my third sentence where I give my overall opinion, and in many ways I'm saying the same thing, but I've just said this essay will discuss why eventually only very few jobs will be carried out by people. So you go ahead and write. I want you to memorize this phrase though. This essay will discuss, and then you write your particular overall opinion here. 1 minute. All right, just let me check that chat to see how people are going. Okay, good. Herman's written, this essay will discuss the reasons why only particular jobs will be replaced. Beautiful, well done. Blue said, in my opinion, in many hospital sectors, don't get too specific here. In the paragraphs, we're going to get specific and detailed. The introduction, you remain quite broad, but what we're doing is we're angling down. We're becoming specific, but it's not until you reach the paragraphs that you get into details. Prabhakar says, Blue Life says, human, okay, that's fine. Prabhakar, this essay will discuss why some jobs are going to rely on humans rather than machines. Good, I like it, well done. Julia says, this essay will discuss why some jobs are difficult to be taken by robots. Good, that sounds good. Let's push on and first of all, look at my introduction, then we'll look at the paragraph. So, my introduction sounds like this. Artificially intelligent robots are progressively replacing humans in the workforce. While it is possible that all menial jobs will eventually be done by robots, It's unlikely that jobs that require human contact will be taken over. This essay will discuss why eventually only very few jobs will be carried out by people. All right, so what have I got here? Let me choose a different color. Choose blue. Blue is nice. So what have I done? Well, this sentence here, I've rewritten the general introduction, the general statement. Here, in this sentence, I've given my two opinions. All menial jobs will eventually be done by robots. Unlikely that jobs that require human contact will be taken over. Third sentence, I've given my overall opinion. This essay will discuss why eventually only very few jobs will be carried out by people. It's kind of hard to write this introduction for the opinion, actually, because I think that the other essays, it's easier in the other essays to just say overall the advantages outweigh the disadvantages, for example, or with the double question to come up with your answer. This one, let me think about this one. I could possibly improve this structure, but let's keep going. How to write paragraph 1. Paragraph 1 looks like this, and this will be your opinion 1. So what we do is restate opinion 1 from the introduction. We then give reasons, we then give examples, and then we conclude. Let me show you what I mean. So we restate opinion 1. So in my introduction, I wrote, while it's possible that all menial jobs will eventually be done by robots. So this is my opinion 1. This part here, I don't need this actually. All menial jobs or all unskilled jobs will eventually be done by robots. So I'm going to restate that. So let me restate that. It says this. Robots may eventually replace all human labor that does not require specific and complex human skills. Fine, that's what I've done. So what I want you to do is go back to your introduction, find out what your opinion 1 was, and then I want you to restate it in different words and start to get a little bit more detailed. All right, let me have a look at some of these sentences. Not yet here. Keep going. All right, let's now have a look. Herman, first off the mark. It is argued that robots can automate most human jobs these days. Most human jobs. Most of humans' jobs. Just most human jobs. It is argued that robots can automate most human jobs these days. Good introduction to this paragraph. Well done. Because next you're going to give reasons, then you're going to give examples, then you're going to conclude. Good. Mahbub says, artificial intelligence and robotics are into existence nowadays to replace less effort human jobs. Okay, I get it. Artificially intelligent robots may replace jobs these days that require less effort. Good, good. That's your opinion. They're going to replace jobs that require less effort. That makes sense. And that's a good first sentence of your introduction. Julia says, it's highly likely that a significant number of jobs will be completed with the use of artificial intelligence. Okay, then you've gotten into your reasons or your examples. That's fine. Good first sentence. Ashista says, mundane tasks which consume significant amounts of time for humans can be carried out by robots. Good, I like it. Well done. So we've written the first sentence of our paragraph 1 where we basically just restated, in other words, our opinion, our first opinion from the introduction. Now we're going to give reasons. Give reasons why. So let me just remind myself, robots may eventually replace all human labor that does not require specific and complex human skills. Why? Many companies will turn to artificial intelligence because it is far less expensive than hiring, training, and employing a human. Right. That's my reason why. It's less expensive than hiring, training, and employing a human. Cool. Up to you. Now give reasons why. Elaborate on your first opinion on the first sentence of your paragraph 1. All right, let's have a look at these reasons why. So what have we got? Herman, there are many compelling reasons of why this trend has significantly fostering. That word's not right. Cost is the most obvious one. Good. That's fine. You've written 2 sentences there, but that's fine. And it's going to lead beautifully onto your examples. You can see why the reason and then the examples come together. The reason first, then the examples. Mahabub says, accurately programmed robots can execute the jobs more flawlessly than humans do. Thus, human errors can be eradicated completely in the workplace. Fantastic. Well done. Great sentences, plural. You've written 2, that's fine. The structure's semi-set. Okay, you can follow it sentence by sentence. If you want to add an extra sentence, that's fine. That's the nature of language. We have to be flexible. Julia, therefore, many people, especially with special needs, may benefit. Good, that's fine. That carries on. Maria, there are certain jobs that only a human being can execute. Good, cool, fine. So we've given reasons why. Now we need to give some examples. This is pretty straightforward. Give an example or 2. I said, in supermarkets in Australia, for example, many cashiers have been replaced by automated stations that cost far less than employees. I've written another example. In addition, these automated stations work around the clock and require no holidays or holiday pay. Let's go back. I'm going to read you mine sentence by sentence. Restated opinion 1. Robots may eventually replace all human labor that does not require specific and complex human skills. Many companies will turn to artificial intelligence because it is far less expensive than hiring, training, and employing a human. In supermarkets in Australia, for example, many cashiers have been replaced by automated stations that cost far less than employees. In addition, these automated stations work around the clock and require no holidays or holiday pay. Now, up to you. Please just give one example. In the exam, you can give two, but let's just write one sentence, a good example that leads on from your reason. You have 1 minute. Okie dokie, let's see what we've got here. We want some examples. Ashita said, operational activities which have patterns can be programmed into machines which will result in completing the task accurately and successfully within less time compared with humans. I think that's your reason. We want an example now. Herman, take registers, for example. It is axiomatic that the efficiency of managing automated machines is much less exorbitant. Okay, here's a little tip. When you start to use words that are rare, that are not frequent, less common, complicated, you have to be certain that they're precise. Whatever you do, make sure your word choice is precise, because they're interesting words: exorbitant, automation, etc., axiomatic, but they're not quite right. I mean, axiomatic's fine, but exorbitant's not quite right. Exorbitant refers to money, expense, for example, not efficiency. So make sure your word choice is correct. You may have to choose a word that's simpler, but it will serve a better purpose because it will be more precise. A simpler, precise word is much better than a complicated, imprecise word, okay? Choose simplicity, choose clarity. Mahabub says, for example, automated teller machines are used to deposit and withdraw money in no time. This has tremendously eradicated human intervention and saves time. Good, well done. Julia, for example, in Japan, the robots are helpers in supermarkets or at home. Okay, this sentence needs a bit of work. For example, in Japan, the robots, as helpers in supermarkets or at home, are replacing people's jobs. Let me reword this. For example, in Japan, the robots work as helpers in supermarkets and are increasingly replacing human jobs. So you needed to just pull that one together a little bit more, but good, well done. Let's push on. Sentence 4, we want to conclude. We want to wrap up this paragraph. We want to wrap up or conclude opinion 1. For these reasons, jobs that can be replaced by robotic intelligence will be replaced. Let's go back. I'm going to read all of mine again. Robots may eventually replace all human labor that does not require specific and complex human skills. Many companies will turn to artificial intelligence because it is far less expensive than hiring, training, and employing a human. In supermarkets in Australia, for example, many cashiers have been replaced by automated stations that cost far less than employees. In addition, these automated stations work around the clock and require no holidays or holiday pay. For these reasons, jobs that can be replaced by robotic intelligence will be replaced. Cool. And you might notice this little phrase I've used here. You may want to use this as well. For these reasons. Because we gave the reason and we gave the example, and now I'm referring back to them and saying, for these reasons, blah, blah, blah. Try this phrase in your next sentence. Conclude your first opinion in one sentence. All right, how have you gone there? Let me have a look at this chat. Good, nice. Herman's written, all in all, these unskilled jobs are evident of how machines are progressively substituting the human's workforce. Good, well done. You've repeated the idea from the introduction in here, and that's fine because that's logical structure. An essay flows from the introduction into the paragraphs, into the conclusion. The conclusion goes back to the introduction. The paragraphs themselves have a cyclical sort of structure, so that's fine. Good. Julia, for these reasons, computers and robots will be involved in people's lives, plural, more frequently in the future. Good. Excellent. That's fine. If you haven't finished that, that's fine. Let's push on. So we've just written our paragraph 1, which basically is our opinion 1. What we did was we restated our opinion 1, we gave reasons, we gave examples, and then we concluded. This is what my paragraph looks like from beginning to end. Robots may eventually replace all human labor that does not require specific and complex human skills. Many companies will turn to artificial intelligence because it is far less expensive than hiring, training, and employing a human. In supermarkets in Australia, for example, many cashiers have been replaced by automated stations that cost far less than employees. In addition, these automated stations work around the clock and require no holidays or holiday pay. For these reasons, jobs that can be replaced by robotic intelligence will be replaced. Cool. How to write paragraph 2? Well, we just follow the same structure. We restate opinion 2, we give reasons, examples, and we conclude opinion 2. Here's mine. Conversely, now I've said that because my first paragraph was about jobs that would be replaced or could be replaced or that probably will be replaced. My paragraph 2, however, conversely, there are some human jobs that cannot be replaced because robots will never achieve the capacity to do them. Put simply, some jobs require a human touch. These jobs include psychology, education, medicine, and social work, to name but a few. Robots will never be able to achieve what has taken social evolution hundreds of thousands of years to achieve. Let's look at this closely. Here, I've restated my opinion too. Remember in my introduction, I said that some jobs require human contact. I've said here, conversely, there are some human jobs that cannot be replaced because robots will never achieve the capacity to do them. Okay, fine. Now I give my reason. Put simply, some jobs require a human touch. It's a short sentence and it's fine. Here I give my example. These jobs include psychology, education, medicine, and social work, to name but a few. And here I conclude this paragraph. Robots will never be able to achieve what has taken social evolution hundreds of thousands of years to achieve. So I've written my paragraph 2 in exactly the same structure as I did with my paragraph 1. Fine, let's move to the conclusion, the final part of the essay. It's going to have 3 sentences. If we look at it up close, we're going to basically, actually, let's go back. You'll notice this. The conclusion is the same as the introduction, except here we wrote this essay will. Here we don't write that, okay? But the structure's the same. The sentence 1, 2, 3, same here. 1, 2, 3. So sentence 1, rewrite that general statement again. It said in the question, if we remember correctly, some people believe that eventually all jobs will be done by artificially intelligent robots. I've said it is increasingly likely that robots will end most human employment. I haven't said all, I've said most. This sentence is very similar, or it's maybe not identical in meaning, but it's very similar in meaning to the first sentence of my introduction. Okay, I've basically just rewritten that again in different words. Now I want you to do that, rewrite that general statement again, and put your answer in there. If you're watching this on YouTube, please put your comments into the comments below. You can put your sentences in if you like, and do click like and subscribe. Now let's have a look at those sentences. What have you got here? Herman, to sum up. Good, that's fine. You can begin your conclusion with to sum up, or in summary, or in conclusion. It appears to me that there are a considerable number of occupations that may be taken by robots. Beautiful, well done. No comma after that. That's the only problem there. That there, you don't need a comma. Julia, to conclude, the significant amount of people's jobs will be conducted by artificial intelligence in the future. Good. A significant number of people's jobs will be conducted by artificial intelligence in the future. Good. A significant number of jobs will be conducted by artificial intelligence in the future. Excellent. If you're still writing your sentence, that's fine. Let's push on. We've rewritten the general statement. Now we're going to briefly mention opinion 1 and 2 again. Mine says this: unskilled labor will eventually be done entirely by robots. However, sophisticated jobs that require human-specific skills will always exist. Again, let's look at it closely. What are my two opinions here? I've said unskilled labor will be done entirely by robots. First opinion. However, so I've balanced this like a seesaw using however. Sophisticated jobs that require human-specific skills will always exist. They were my two opinions, exactly the same from my introduction. The first one, the second one, I've put them both into a sentence, and interestingly, I've used this here. I've put a semicolon, semicolon, and a comma here with the word however. Now I did this because I'm trying to balance two ideas here. I can start my sentence and say, while opinion 1, opinion 2, or I can say opinion 1, however, opinion 2. That's one way to balance two ideas in a single sentence. So you may want to use or copy this particular structure here if it works, if you're confident, if it works. So your turn. Write your answer. Briefly mention opinion 1 and opinion 2 again. It's a hard sentence. I'll give you 2 full minutes. If you want, you can write 2 separate sentences. You don't necessarily have to write a complex sentence with both ideas. Let me have a look at what you guys have written. I'm inclined to believe that robots will dominate in some activities. However, human labor will be in the priority in sophisticated fields. Good, well done. You've balanced your 2 ideas there. Good, good, good. What else we got? Herman, while this is true, there are few human... while this is true, there are few humans labor. Okay. How do I say this? There is little labor that will be replaced. Very little labor. Hold on 1 second. I've just got to turn this alarm off in my office. All right, let me look at that one again. Herman, while this is true, there are few human labor that will never be replaced. You could say few jobs. There are a few jobs that will never be replaced. Sometimes choosing the noun like that, labor or jobs, there are few labor doesn't quite work. You need to say few jobs, few jobs. Cool. Mahabub, to conclude, in the future, less skilled jobs will be executed by robotic machines. Semicolon, whereas, comma, high skilled jobs need human intelligence and effort. Beautiful. Maria, despite the fact that we are living in an advanced technological world, comma, I still believe that artificial intelligence cannot do some human jobs. Beautiful. I love that. Well done. Cool. So we've rewritten the second sentence. We now are up to our final sentence where we give our overall opinion. And I've said this, ultimately, comma, very few jobs will be safe in an increasingly artificially intelligent workforce. I probably should have said very few human jobs. Let me change that. Let me change that right now. Very few human jobs will be safe in an increasingly artificially intelligent world. This is my final sentence. I want to make it powerful. I've used this ultimately comma here, which works really well. And what I've said follows on from everything I said in my introduction, my paragraph 1, my paragraph 2, and I've just summarized it down. And if we remember correctly from the question, it said all jobs will be replaced by robots in the future. And what I'm saying is ultimately very few human jobs will be safe in an increasingly artificially intelligent workforce. I've used some crazy double adverbs here and an adjective. Anyway, you might want to use this ultimate. Try that if you want. Otherwise, you can write your final sentence. Whoops, there we go. Final sentence, 1 minute. Let me have a look here. All right. Mahabub, consequently, only fewer work. You can't do few in labor. You can't do few in work. You have to do few jobs. Only only fewer work-related activities. Sorry, you're right. You can do it with activities. Consequently, only fewer work-related activities can be accomplished by robots, which doesn't require much skills. Okay, yeah. Make it simple. Make it simpler. As a consequence, few work-related activities can be accomplished by robots, which don't require much skill, singular. Good. Julia, ultimately, comma, skillful jobs which are effectively done by people may not be completely replaced by machines. Love it. That's a nice sentence. Well done. Cool. If you're still writing, that's okay. That, my friends, is the end of your essay. Let me read you my conclusion. It says, it is increasingly likely that robots will end most human employment. unskilled labor will eventually be done entirely by robots. However, sophisticated jobs that require human-specific skills will always exist. Ultimately, very few jobs will be safe in an increasingly artificially intelligent workforce. That's the essay. We've just written it from beginning to end. This is what it will look like on your paper. What we want to do is we want to get the format right. Just before I do that, I've got to say that in the IELTS, you're going to be writing with a pencil and paper, and I don't know about you, but I never do that. And I haven't done that for many, many years, not since I was a child. So actually, when I took the IELTS and I did that, I found it difficult. It's probably a good idea to practice with a pen and paper. Anyway, paragraph 1. Here it is here. Sorry, my introduction here. My paragraph 1, which is my opinion. Opinion 1, remember? That was my opinion 1. Here's my paragraph 2. This was my opinion 2. And then we wrote the conclusion here. Excellent. And you'll notice that I've kept a space in between my paragraphs. I didn't indent it. There's no need to. You just need to put a space in between it. Uh-oh, 244 words. Now, I did this. When I took the IELTS and I did the writing, I didn't write enough words. I wrote my essay and I thought, easy. Now I'll relax and have a stretch. And then I looked at it and I thought, I wonder if that's 250 words. And so I did a little bit of mathematics where I counted how many words were in the first line, and then I counted the number of lines. I multiplied the 2, and I got to about 230, and I was 20 words short, or around that. I can't remember exactly. And I thought to myself, oh my God, I'm 20 words short. The IELTS scan these documents, and they know precisely how many words you've written. So what do you do if you get stuck and you're short on words? Well, you need to get to 250. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this paragraph and I'm going to think I'm going to have to add an example or add a reason. So what I do here is what you'll probably have to do on test day is draw a line and write your extra information. But here I've just added another example or another reason. I said they require the sophisticated social skills of a person, blah, 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 blah. I've brought my word count up to 257 words. So that's done. Right. Just before I let you go, I want to talk to you a little bit about what the examiners look for in your writing. There are 4 things you need to be conscious of. 4 things. First of all, did you write on topic? Write on topic. Well, yes, we have. Because we've used that question prompt so much in our essay, we rewrote that general statement and we did the opinion 1, the opinion 2, again and again and again. Don't deviate from the question prompt. It's hard to do in this webinar, but what you have to do on test day is keep that piece of paper right in front of you. And every few minutes, look up and look at that question prompt and make sure you're writing about that, because it's very easy to go off topic and to just writing. You think this is beautiful. I'm writing a beautiful paragraph. And then you look at the question prompt and you think, oh my God, it's nothing to do with that opinion that they're asking me in the question prompt. So stick on topic. Did you use precise vocabulary? Well, as I said before, it's better to be simple and clear rather than to be complex and unclear. What about this essay? Well, I've said words like progressively replacing, that's nice. I've said menial jobs, that's good vocabulary. Eventually, fine. Unlikely, that's a nice word. Very few jobs, that's a nice phrase. Carried out, that's a phrasal verb, that's okay. Replace, that's a nice verb. Specific skills or complex skills, that's a nice phrase there. So mine contains not just a wide range of vocabulary. That's the first thing. The second thing is your vocabulary precise? Is the meaning clear? That's critical. And also think about vocabulary not just as single words. You're not trying to just put in single words. You're trying to put in those phrases, those human contact, those collocations, carried out, replace labor. Again, this specific skills. These types of phrases and collocations are critically important. Okay, next, accurate grammar. Fine. Well, in English, a lot of the grammar has to do with your verb tenses. Are your verb tenses accurate? Have you used the right verb tense? Simple past, present simple, all that sort of stuff. Let's have a quick look at mine. So I've used are replacing. I've used the present continuous here because it's happening at the moment. So that's correct. Okay. It is possible that all many jobs will be done. Future. It's unlikely that jobs, blah, 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 blah. This essay will. This is also future. Although it's only briefly into the future, it's still the correct verb. Will discuss. Will discuss. Robots may eventually replace. Present simple. Because I've got this. May replace. Here I've got a negative, etc. Anyway, I don't want to go into too much detail, but verb tenses are critical. Singular and plural nouns are critical. Is it one robot or many robots? Is it one job or many jobs? Is it labor or labors? Well, you can't do labors, so you got to do labor. So there's a little exception for you. Also, one last thing I want to point out is articles. I'm scanning my eyes over. Am I seeing any articles? And I can't see any. Fine, I'll move on. Logical structure. Well, this is a logical structure. What happens is your introduction creates a little cycle. Your paragraph creates a little cycle. And your second one does the same. And they link back to the first sentence. Same with your conclusion. It does a little cycle. And overall, your essay does a big cycle. Your introduction connects to your conclusion. And what happens is you create a logical flow from sentence to sentence, from paragraph to paragraph, from introduction to conclusion, back to introduction. This is called coherence, and that is what the IELTS examiners are looking for in your essays. Cool. That's all. Let me quickly answer some questions on Q&A, but then we'll leave it there. If you're watching on YouTube, click like, click subscribe, and leave a comment. It makes me feel good as a teacher if you say something nice or say something terrible. I'm also open to criticism. Cool. Let's do this. Let's go to Q&A. And let me stop recording.